this meeting via all hands. So it'll be interesting to see. We see more and more folks coming, so this is great. This video or this session will be recorded for your awareness. You probably saw the little pop-up saying the session is being recorded, so just for your awareness. So those folks who aren't able to join us for the morning and afternoon session are able to see this as well. So we'll go ahead and get started. We have a full agenda for y'all today. I am Rosalind. Sorry. I am the Community Management and Training Division Director at the Naval Facilities Institute. I oversee the intern programs, which include the Professional Development Center and the Naval Acquisition Development Program for NAVFAC, and I also oversee the leadership programs, which is why I'm here presenting to you all today to talk about that. So the overview for today's session, we'll go through the brief that's also in the chat where you'll find that. We'll hear from some of our NAVFAC's leadership program graduates, and then we'll take questions from the field after that from all of you guys. So this is for you all. We want you to get the most out of this, so questions are definitely encouraged. It's great to see, I see a lot of our BD17 folks out there today joining us. We also have our NFI folks as well, Mr. Robert Mantanona, who's program manager for the leadership programs. He's on here as well. There he is. Thanks, Rob. And I also have Heather Ulalang, who's also here too. So again, welcome, and we'll just go ahead and get started. As you all know, the application period is going on right now for the leadership program. So it opened up 25 March and it will close on 25 May. And so really to go over the guidance that we have and that we are that NAVFAC fully supports the leadership development of our workforce. Former CNO, retired Admiral Richardson, released the Design for Maintaining Maritime Superiority version 2.0. And one of the key objectives, of course, is strengthening and broadening leadership development. So also our current CNO, Admiral Gilday, he came out with the Design 2.0, which is a fragmentary order for senior Navy leaders that highlights the most important aspects of the Navy's plan for maritime superiority, focusing on warfighting, warfighters, and the future Navy. And of course, with the end state being for warfighter, a world-class naval force through recruitment, education, training, and retention of talented American men and women. And of course, our chief, Admiral Korka, with his strategic design 2.0, fully aligns with SECNAV and the Chief of Naval Operations priorities. And it's evident in the line of effort, strengthen our SysCom team. And one of the focus efforts for the line of effort is workforce talent, recruit, develop, and retain highly qualified and motivated people. So this is what brings us all here today, your interest in the leadership programs and your awareness that NAVFAC fully supports, that our leadership fully supports the workforce in developing the leadership skills and competencies throughout your career. And again, this brings us here today. So we'll talk about the leadership program opportunities that are available to you, and again, answer questions that you may have. So next slide, the intent and overview. So as you're aware, there are a variety of different leadership programs for employees at different stages of their career. So leadership programs, they do help develop that pipeline of highly qualified individuals for current and future opportunities. So NAVFAC has one announcement for the upcoming fiscal year for the leadership programs. And as I mentioned before, the open period for this year, it's just for FY22, So our open season for applications is 25 March through 25 May. So it's about a 2-month time frame. But the purpose of this is really to, why we have it this way and broken up this way, is to encourage our employees to discuss with their supervisors and their mentors, what are the different programs out there? What are the opportunities that are available to you? And what may be a good fit for you in your career at this point in time? Um, so, and also, what can you do? Having those critical conversations of, how to help prepare yourself, if maybe now is not the right time, but preparing yourself to be a candidate in the future as well too. So it's prime time. We'll talk about this too. We have the ECA out. Hopefully all of you have done that. The employee competency assessment, you've seen from your BD17 folks who sent that out. And this is that time, that season, doing your individual development plans as well. So, okay, so let's get into who is eligible to apply. And this you have probably seen on the leadership development portal page. We'll see the link in a little bit, but this covers basically the minimum eligibility criteria. So you have to be a permanent, career conditional, full-time employee who's completed at least your first year probationary period. You have to have been a NAVFAC employee for the past 12 months. Of course, meet the program grade level eligibility requirements on a permanent basis. And if you are a supervisor, you must have completed your probationary period. You also need to be compliant with the mandatory certification and training requirements. You also must maintain a performance rating of record of acceptable or equivalent. And you have to have a supervisor approved IDP, which is very important, especially helping with your career planning. And there are other eligibility requirements that must be met for each of the programs as well. But these are the minimum requirements to be a participant in the leadership program. So I wanted you all to be aware of that. Okay. So this next slide covers the different leadership programs, and it's broken out by the different types, for the DoD, DON, NAVFAC programs, and of course the government commercial type programs that are available. And then it also has it by the equivalent grade levels of what folks are eligible for. You'll notice in the red that the Executive Leadership Development Program, the ELDP, and the DCAA, which is the Defense Contract Audit Agency Directors Development Program and Leadership, is not being announced this year for FY22 participation. The reason being is, of course, due to COVID, there have been delays. So our previous selections from the previous year have not gone through yet. So they are finishing up the previous year's folks who were in the program, and then our selections from last year will go through. So this is why we did not go forward with the announcement for these two programs. So that's for your awareness. So we'll go on to the next slide. Oops. Just waiting for it to catch up for me. Okay, wait. A little too fast. So the leadership development programs and training. So you'll see on the top right, there's that link. Hopefully you've all gone to it and visited it. This has the details of the programs and gives you further information about them. We'll go in a little bit more detail, and you'll see some screenshots in the future and some future slides. But you can see, again, the list of different opportunities. Now, for these leadership program that's being announced this year, for your awareness, they all go through, of course, you go through your command nomination process, you submit it by the 25th of May, your applications, have all the signatures, everything good to go, and then it goes through, of course, your command nominations, and then those nominations are forwarded on to to headquarters at NFI, where there's also, they're vetted through selection boards. We have the mid-level and senior level selection boards that those applications go through as well. Now, for the DoD and DON programs, for those Navy and DoD-wide programs, they have to go through a further competition for the other syscoms and other agencies. So, we have to go through that other level of screening there. And of course, we have our centrally managed NAVFAC programs, which are the NAVFAC Leadership Development Program, the LDP, and the Aspiring Leader Development Program, the ALDP. Again, those are centrally managed, and selections are made at the selection board level. Other training that's listed on here as well are some trainings that NFI offers from Capitol Hill. We recently announced the Supervisor Academy courses, which is for supervisors, that came out this fiscal year. And of course, we have the NFI courses 101, 201, and 301 that are available on the Total Force Training site. And there are also a variety of other opportunities, training opportunities and developmental opportunities that BD17 has put out as well, from on-demand training that you'll see, East Coast, West Coast offerings, all of that good stuff. So you have that, and so we want you to utilize those opportunities too, and better help you prepare for these leadership opportunities. So which program is right for you? This is such an important slide, especially because we talk about the employee competency assessment, making sure, okay, well, what are the competencies that I need to develop? As always, your job, your priorities, your technical proficiency is your number one priority, making sure that you have the technical skills to do and perform your job. But it's also important to recognize, as you go further in your career, and looking into leadership, that may be something that you're interested in. What are areas that you can or need to develop? So the employee competency assessment, like I mentioned before, so great. Hopefully you've all done that, but it's a great tool to use and to discuss with your supervisor if you haven't done so already. What areas do I need to focus on? Do I need to strengthen? Do I need to further develop? Talk to your supervisor and your mentor, hopefully you have one as well, about your goals. What do you see for your future? What kind of position are you looking for advancement or what have you? It's important to be open to constructive feedback. Sometimes it can be difficult to hear, but this, you want to have those conversations to help you grow. And of course, developing your IDP, you'll have to do that with your supervisor. So again, it's so important, to have that plan for the next, year, the next few years, to just help you continue to grow and develop. And it'll help you identify, what opportunities are out there, whether it's, it doesn't have to necessarily just be a training class. It could be other opportunities from rotations to developmental assignments, things of that nature. So you want to get that down on your IDP, very important. And of course, it's a requirement if you want to apply for a leadership program too. So other things, review your leadership program descriptions and requirements. So you'll have that available on the website, of course. You can see the details of the different programs, all the information, what it's about, and what would be a good fit for you, whether it be now or in the future. So having those open discussions is so important, because your supervisor is going to be your advocate for you and will be signing off on your applications. So please, be sure to do that. So hopefully this was helpful for you. Okay, so where can you learn more about the available leadership programs? So this is the website on the NAVFAC portal page, the leadership programs. Again, there's the link for you there. I'm sure many of you have visited it. And this is where you'll get the details of the programs, what's entailed, what what's it about, and what you'll learn from these different programs. There is a wealth of information available here. If you go to the next, let's see, next slide, you'll see the details. This is also on the NAVFAC portal page, leadership program page. This gives you a quick snapshot of the description of the program, grade level equivalencies, who can apply for these programs, and what they are. Also, as I mentioned before, you'll see the application form is located on here. So for each of the programs, you'll see the application form. Again, more information from brochures, what's required on the application package, what you need to have to submit. And I can tell you, it's so important. Please make sure to fill in all the fields. If you have questions or uncertain about your anything from your business or support line or community, please check, make sure you have that correct. These are all things that we are looking at and making sure, we're screening for them. So help your BD 172 to make sure all of the information is correct. All of the fields are filled out, and please thoroughly answer the questions. So another important aspect, make sure the questions that are being asked, that you fully answer them, and make sure you cover all the bases. So again, your applications are screened and reviewed, looked at not just at the command level, but also at the headquarters level, where we have a panel, the selection board. So just wanted to share that with you. Okay, the NAVFAC public portal page. This is where you can also be able to find the information. There's detailed information there as well in the leadership development programs. But to actually, when you go to that site to get the further information, you will have to go into the portal page. So you will have to log in that way. But it's a great place to see, and just if you're perusing or looking, especially at home or what have you, you have access to this, since it is a public portal site, and be able to review the programs that way. Also, I wanted to mention on this on the CCRC, the Career Compass Resource Center page, this is where you'll also find a wealth of other training opportunities, from webinars to on-demand classes that you can take, other opportunities that you can look at. Again, a wealth of resources on here to help you further develop and see what other opportunities to help you further develop yourself and your skills, especially with those workforce development continuing competencies, to look at that. So I highly encourage you to visit this page as well. Okay, now before I get into our NAVFAC central leadership programs, do I have any questions out there? Let's see. Anyone? Okay. Oops. Okay, so we'll go really quickly into this because I do want to get to our wonderful speakers who have volunteered. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so we'll go into the Aspiring Leader Development Program, the ALDP. And the reason why we're highlighting this is because these are our NAVFAC centralized programs that we have a range of folks go through, but it's definitely highlights of NAVFAC, and we want to continue to encourage our folks to apply for. Oops, excuse me. Now, can you all still see my screen? It looks like it went blank.
Yes, Roz, we can.
Okay,
we can see.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, on my other device it went out, so I was a little worried. Thank you. So again, this fully supports the NAVFAC strategic design, the line of effort, strengthen our SysCom team. And so we go through a range of the different objectives that we have here. It is corporate-wide initiative. We've had the last few years with the ALDP before it was decentralized, and has been centralized in the last few years. But it does provide that baseline for the competitive entry into other leadership programs, for example, the LDP. So this gives you a good opportunity with ALDP to help folks see is leadership something that they want to be, is leader, something that they want to go into further. So the program overview, it's a 6-month program. Each cadre size is about 25 employees. And you can see the different grade levels that are there. So there are certain requirements, of course, that are listed there as well for the program overview that's available to you. But I won't go into details for that for this time, since you can read that. There is a range of different assessments that are done, the MBTI, Leadership Effectiveness Inventory, and like I said, other assessments as well. There's a range of experiential learning activities, just a lot of, we have such great feedback on this program, and I've sat in on many of the sessions, and just the interaction and the discussion is just rich, and you'll hear more from our folks from ALDP who will be speaking as well too, so I don't want to take too much away from them. Also, just a breakout as far as the curriculum and training. So week 1 focused on knowing and understanding yourself. Week 2 with the teaming, getting to understand, working together as a team. And of course, week 3 with the transformation and learning about the organization NAVFAC as a whole. So a great focus, 3 separate weeks in a period of 6 months. As you can see here, the FY22 ALDP Cadre, we have 2 cadres this year for the East Coast and West Coast. Session dates are there, but also wanted you to be aware, should we have additional applications more than 50, we will definitely look into potentially having other cadres that we need to build into as necessary. So just for your awareness. Let's see. So this is the application package requirements, and you can see that as well on the leadership development page. And when you go through your package and looking for what you need, you'll have access to that, of course. So now I'll go in really quickly into the LDP, the NAVFAC Leadership Development Program. This has been in existence since 2009, so for a number of years now. But we've had, so many folks that have gone and graduated through this program that we've seen now who are in our senior leadership positions, which has been wonderful. I'm saying with ALDP, we've seen a number of folks who've completed ALDP, have gone into LDP, and it's just wonderful to see this, again, pipeline of folks coming through, and we get to, work with them and see, the great success that they've had. But as you can see here, providing that development for senior civilian leader, for future senior civilian leaders. And there's just a range of wonderful activities that we'll go into. So there's 3 levels, of course, level 1, 2, and 3. So our level 1, our GS 12, 13 non-supervisors. Level 2 is for our supervisors in GS 12, 13 positions, and of course level 3 for the GS 14 and 15s. So each of these have the different focus areas that you are focused on. So especially level 1, getting that exposure, understanding the business operations of NAVFAC. Of course, level 2, for supervisors, focusing on, understanding the different echelons. We'll get that through the rotations. How is it done? How is work done in the different echelons and what have you within your own community, and developing that network. And of course, our level 3, really getting that headquarters awareness, the corporate knowledge, and getting outside of your business line and having that exposure and that opportunity. So the structured plan, it's this combination of rotational assignments, which is a highlight of the LDP. There is a specific development project that's required for all of our cadre members. Assessments that are done as well from the 360 assessment. And of course, having the ILDP for the career planning. There is a mandatory LDP training session, which again is another highlight of the program. And attending, having these corporate perspectives and having these interviews with senior leadership has been very valuable to folks, having those one-on-one and even group conversations through that, and of course mentoring as well. So the LDP Opportunity, you have what's required of your package. You have the details as well that's been provided by your BD17, your Total Force Development Specialist, that you have that at your local command and what's required. So just really quickly, any additional information for LDP, you can find it there. We have an LDP page. And of course, if you'd like to see your LDP graduates and meet up with them and find out and get more details, you can do that as well. So with that, I am going to turn it over. We have the pleasure of, I'm going to turn off my, let's see, this, and we have the pleasure of having our folks who are currently with us to discuss their experience in the leadership development program. And so we'll go ahead and start off with, we have someone here from the Navy Senior Leader Seminar, NSLS, Miss Catherine Horan from Southeast. If you're there, we're going to hear a couple minutes from you, and we'll go through the different programs as well.
Hi, thank you very much. Hope everyone can see and hear me. I am Catherine Horan. I am currently the counsel at NAVFAC Southeast in Jacksonville, Florida. I'll tell you a little bit about myself and my background so you know my perspective, and that way you can figure out what, as far as me attending the class, my perspective on all that, my background. I have 28 years as a federal employee. I've been working for NAVFAC since 2000 and have been counsel as a supervisor since 2005. So I attended the NSLS seminar in July of 2019. So I had been a supervisor for a little while by that time, but I still took an opportunity to improve my leadership and supervisory skills. I think it's very important as a supervisor and a leader to take every opportunity to improve that's presented. So when I saw this course, I jumped at the chance because you can always improve. When I was first selected to be counsel and a supervisor, of course, I had never demonstrated supervisory skills. I was proficient as a lawyer. I knew my job and I was good at my job. And many times supervisors are selected because they're good at their job. But then they have to make sure that they've got skills to be a good leader and to be a good supervisor. And these programs are fabulous in that they can help you with those skills to be the best supervisor and the best leader you can be. So I went to the NSLS course. It's in Monterey, California, an absolutely beautiful setting. Very easy to get to. The airport's very close to course is being taught. Flew right into the airport, quick drive over to the course, had beautiful location for us to take the class, very nice setting. So I highly recommend this class. We had wonderful topics that helped improve my skills and helped me to see bigger Navy picture that I normally wouldn't have in Jacksonville, Florida. We do have great training opportunities in Jacksonville, but this was a big Navy training opportunity. I was in a class with O6s and GS-15s that had all brought different experiences and different leadership styles and backgrounds, and everyone shared. We broke into leadership teams, so we got to learn from each other. A lot of military in the class, and normally as civilians, we don't get the opportunity to share leadership styles and skills with active duty military. It was an amazing opportunity for me, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I highly recommend it. Some of the topics that we covered were leadership styles. We had an excellent program on Navy programming, which normally I wouldn't have access to. How does the Navy program for funding and budget? We talked about diversity and biases in decision-making, problem solving. We had a great NCIS session on fraud prevention. That was really fascinating. We talked about strategic communication, Ethical leadership were some of the topics. We did a really fascinating session also on China's rise to power, to talk about the Navy's big overall reaction and dealing with China and its rise to power. Just absolutely excellent leadership and supervisory training sessions and breakout sessions where we could learn from each other. We also had some social events that were excellent and gave us a chance to bond and talk about our careers and our aspirations in the non-training sessions. We also had group exercise and nutrition, which at first intimidated me a little bit because I'm a little bit older and some of the military, you know, put a lot of emphasis on exercise. So, but there was no judgment at all. Everybody did their best in the group exercise classes, and I felt like I had a lot of encouragement and pats on the back, despite the fact I wasn't as good at exercising as some of the active duty military guys were. And we had nutritionists assigned to the group who helped us talk about, you know, nutrition and staying healthy. We even had a sleep program, kind of helped us realize how important sleep is and being a good supervisor and a good leader, because you can't really do 110% if you're tired or not well rested. So I highly recommend the program. It was absolutely excellent. If anybody ever has any questions specifically about what I learned or the materials, happy to share and help with that. Should we take questions now, or are you going to hold questions for the end?
We'll probably hold questions for the end if that's okay, Catherine. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll go ahead and move on to, for our FEI, or Federal Executive Institute, Mr. George Mendoza will speak on that. Over to you, George. Thank you. Oh, George, you're muted.
I said really cool things when I was muted, so sorry. Anyways, my name is George Mendoza. I'm the Director of Civilian Human Resources for NAVFAC. Under my community is all things HR for civilians. I too attended the Navy Senior Leadership Seminar, and I agree with everything that was said. It was a great opportunity. Really encourage everybody to go to that one as well. FEI was a little bit different than Navy Senior Leadership Seminar in that it was really a leadership journey, but it's also a finding out about yourself and who you are and what makes you who you are. So you have to be willing to be vulnerable in the FEI, because it really break you down to your essential elements, right? So really learned a lot about myself, a lot of things, a lot of blind spots that I didn't know that I had, the courses that they gave were phenomenal. They were all about adaptive leadership. So, you know, a lot of times as leaders, we are asked to be innovative, to be resilient, to be able to lead through changes. And I think that we go through a lot of changes as a Department of the Navy and as NAVFAC. So that really helped me out to kind of create a plan, my own personal plan on my adaptive challenges, which for me, my adaptive challenge is championing execution versus actually doing it. Because a lot of times, you know, what got us to our positions is the technical aspect of what we bring to the table. And letting go of that and just championing it, and inspiring and motivating our staff to embrace the change and get it to execution. So that was very important. There was other stuff about leadership, leading from the heart. You know, my vision of a leader was always somebody that was a big character, you know, a booming voice, that type of stuff. But that's far from the truth. I think leadership is different for different people depending on what you're leading. So it was an excellent class. It was done virtually, so that was an extra challenge. But FEI did an excellent job of giving us the same experience as if we were 30-day, you know, sequestered, I would say, for 30 days in Charlotte, in the beautiful Charlottesville, Virginia. So I highly recommend it to anybody that is interested in taking their leadership to the next level. And with that, I would say if you have any questions, I'll stand by.
Thank you so much, George. So for Bridging the Gap, we have Mr. Timothy Bays from headquarters as well.
Hello, can everybody hear me okay? All right. Hi, my name is Tim Bays. I am a senior construction engineer at NAVFAC headquarters. I am a very recent graduate of Bridging the Gap in that we just finished up last week. And so I don't even have my certificate yet. My advice to everybody here is think about where you want to go in your career and what your background is and maybe where there might be some holes. And so for me, I started out as an intern, graduated from that program in Midland, had opportunities to see lots of training, ended up getting into the LDP program and took the full extent of that, started out as tier 1, graduated as tier 3. I think that's what got me the opportunity here at headquarters, made me prepared to be able to discuss what's really going on with the organization. And then while here at headquarters, I started looking at what is my next big challenge. And so that was where Bridging the Gap really filled that billet for me, in that it was time to start looking at where we stand as a corporation. And so I started looking at the big Navy picture there, and Bridging the Gap really fills that. They give you an opportunity to do a project that is encompassing of a larger audience. For us, we looked at the voluntary leave donor program, so how people can donate and receive leave for emergencies that might occur in your life across the entire organization. And so looking for improvement to that, and the Secretariat is taking that up and is going to be a champion for that now. Bridging the Gap will give you opportunities for one-on-one time and shadowing with SESs. So 40 hours of required time there, which could be interviews because of the current pandemic. But if you have an opportunity to shadow, please take it, because you're going to see these people in action. Rotations. Being here at headquarters gave me an opportunity. I went over to the Pentagon and I was a deputy over there. I actually signed out a couple of instructions because they put me to work, and I really saw what was going on with the Navy, and was able to work with that. One of the other things is you're going to have a 360 assessment that comes with Bridging the Gap. And, you'll hear about that probably with the LDP program also. But for me, a big one for Bridging the Gap that was different was they have a VIA Edge evaluation. And this one really talked about your agility and where you're mentally agile and can you change with people's problems and with results that may not have met what we wanted, your overall self-awareness. And it really talked about where you're overusing skill sets and where you have some that you could work on. And so that was really beneficial to me. And the last one is those ECQs, the Executive Core Qualifications. There is a required component with Bridging the Gap where you have to write one. And whether you want to be an SES or not, I think it's good to know where you stand on being able to lead people, lead change, be a champion for coalitions, business acumen, and looking at your overall results. And so you have to sit down, you have to write one, you work with a team, and then you present it to the entire group, and they give you constructive feedback, which was very good. A lot of things I hadn't even thought about and how to redraft those. And because of this program, I have all 5 of mine now drafted up, ready for a future interview if I want to go that route. But even if I was just going to a GS-15 position, I think you need to be able to talk about those items. And that was where this program was great. So final thought there is look at where you are in the program. Do you need a small step? Are you ready for a bigger step? Are we looking at the corporation or all the way up to the enterprise? And then think about where you're at performance-wise, because these will fill in those gaps. I'm going to be honest with the group here. It took me 4 tries to get into LDP because I tried to just be bullheaded and do it on my own. Find somebody that's been in the program, reach out to them, talk to them. I think in general, anybody that's been in it would be happy to look at your resume, give you some feedback on questions that they may have experienced or stumbled with. So look at my name right there, Bayse, B-A-Y-S-E. Happy to talk to you if you've got any questions. And for those of y'all who don't have the computer, that's once again, that's Bravo Alpha Yankee Sierra Echo. There's very few of us in the gal, Timothy Bays. Look me up. I'm happy to talk with you, and probably Rosalind can put you in touch with some people too. Bridging the gap. It was great for me.
Thank you so much, Tim. And absolutely, yes, we are happy to put you in touch with and help you and assist you with other folks that you'd like for the audience. So now we have for the ASN RDA Sigma rotation, Miss Kate Bates from Southeast. So over to you, Kate.
Good morning. Can y'all hear me? Okay, great.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kate Bates. I am here in NAVFAC Southeast. I'm in the environmental business line. I've been with the DoD for a little over 20 years and here in NAVFAC Southeast for 15 years. And this is an extremely unique opportunity, but it is hands down one of the best things I have done in my 20 years with the government. So this is a very unique one in that you spend 3 weeks at the Pentagon, basically on the hip of the ASN for RDA, which at the time when I went was Mr. Gertz. So I have the dubious distinction of I was sent home from my rotation due to COVID. I was there last March, and that was definitely a unique experience. Unfortunately, I missed out on some of it, but even then, the short amount of time I was there, it is just unreal in the amount of information you will learn. As Timothy was saying, I think one of the best things you can do is get over to the Pentagon, however you can, and you really will find out what is driving things. You know, if you ever got one of those emails about a policy and you just go, what on earth is going on? What is driving this? I was amazed in the meetings I sat in, the discussions I heard, and I went, oh, that's what's driving it. You know, there's always something higher up that at the working level we're not privy to, but there is a lot of discussion, you know, a lot of thought, and it was very interesting to see what the topics of discussion were at the Pentagon, vice how it trickled down to me in an email a week or two later. So, but I mean, some of the things you do, so like I said, it's supposed to be 3 weeks. You spend all of your time with the ASN and his staff. It is very self-driven. So you can be as involved as you want or pull back as much as you want, but you are going where the ASN is going. You sit in his morning staff meeting, you go to whatever meetings he's doing that day. At the time when I was there, it was budgetary hearing time. So I went to congressional hearings, Senate hearings, which are nothing like what you see on TV and on C-SPAN, but it is definitely an experience that I would recommend for everybody, again, to see what the thought process is and what's going on. But you are right there. So Mr. Gertz's office, the ASN office, is literally across the hall from Admiral Gilday. I met him personally when you were still allowed to shake hands, which was very unique. You are right there. So it is it's definitely an opportunity to see what is going on at the heart of the Navy, what is driving things. They let you go where you want to go. You meet with all of the other assistant ASNs. You know, whatever you can get your foot in the door to, you are welcome to attend. I was amazed at how willing everybody at the Pentagon was to tell you what they did, tell you what they know, tell you what they've learned. A big part of the program is they want to develop SESers. They want to get people interested in being SESers. They want to get people interested in coming to work at the Pentagon. And these people will be straight with you. They will say, you know, here's what I gave up, but here's what I've gotten. Here's what I've learned. So very, very helpful, very interesting. I also like the program. It worked for me with my schedule because I have small children, that it was just a 3-week commitment. So that worked a little better for me versus some of the other programs that are much longer or year-long programs. But it's a long, hard 3 weeks. You can cram a lot of information in that window of time. So if you want to learn about the backbone of the Navy, what people are doing. If you're a go-getter who's not afraid to walk into a random office and ask if there's someone you can talk to, you definitely have to be willing to put yourself out there. But honestly, nobody told me no. Then you can get an awful lot out of this and really be exposed to what's going on day to day within the Navy. So I highly recommend it for anybody who wants to learn more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kate. Appreciate it. So we'll now move to the Defense Civilian Emerging Leader Program, DCELP, to round out our DoD programs with Ms. Takako Moore.
Hello, good morning. Can you all hear me? Okay. Okay. All right. So my name is Takako Moore. I'm working at NAVFAC Atlantic as an HR specialist for labor employee relations. I just a little background of myself. I started NAVFAC as a management assistant at just 5, 6, 7 at the NAVFAC Midwest, which is no longer, we don't have the commands in Great Lakes. And then went to NAVFAC Atlantic, same job, and working assisting for business director. Almost, how long? 6 years. Oh no, almost 3 years I was stay there. And then after that, I had the opportunity to move up to HR specialist for NAVFAC Atlantic. And then I left, actually, another opportunity to Fleet Forces Command for 2 years. I was learning labor employee relations, and came back to NAVFAC because I love NAVFAC. I feel like NAVFAC is a home. So entire time I have taught about 10 years for NAVFAC experiences. And I decided to go DCELP, which is Defense Civilian Emerging Leadership Program, because I kind of know NAVFAC and working for Echelon 4, Echelon 3 senior civilians and working assistant. I kind of see their perspective, leadership perspective, because I was actually able to attend all the ESG or leadership discussion for at the land level, Echelon 3 level. So I kind of know about NAVFAC leadership perspective. So I'd like to get some other perspective. We want to get Department of Navy side or the Department of Defense side. So I was looking at the leadership course for the entry level, and there's a DoD one. So I said, well, I'll take this opportunity to apply. So what the DCELP does, there's a 4 weeks, 1 week for 4 times, and within about 3 to 4 months you can accomplish. And the first week you will learn know yourself. The second week they'll say express yourself. The third week team is a build the team, and the fourth week the team is a lead people. So those are 4 elements you learned from the program. And my key takeaway is actually I was very comfortable for myself. I love my job. I just sit in good area and do routine job and continue to work and just do it. But something just hit me and said, I need to move doing something to leadership course or something to get movable. So this course actually forced me to think about what my goal as a leader and as my career. So because you will at the end, in the progress, you will write your leadership roadmap. So that's they start thinking about, and you really writing down yourself, and that forced me to push in a career. And also the program will ask you to have a mentorship. And they will be asking if you like to have a leadership coaches. It's for free. And federal leadership coaches, DoD provided for free. And I actually jump on that program also. And I have my own career mentor. But also I get those free coaching. And then I receive every week, maybe every 3 weeks, I met with the coaches, and coach pushed me to get next level. So the other thing is because DCLP has a two rotation in COFORT, they call COFORT. And the first one will be acquisition team, FM team, and HR specialists, those group will be invited for the first cohort. And I went there for HR side, and there is underneath of the program, there is a they call DoD functional community meeting, and I was able to meet a lot of HR folks in the DoD level and Department of Navy level, and they had almost every Friday during the course they gave us some brief training about the HR. So I learned the different perspective of the Department of Navy, Department DoD side, and some of their people are present from Army, Air Force, the different agencies. So that was a great learning. Then also they gave us HR mentor, the career mentor. So I was very fortunate to have DoD head of DoD HR earlier program manager. She's a director. She was my mentor. She became my mentor. So I was able to having that conversation or mentorship session. And also I learned myself a lot for these courses. They'll teach you about yourself and your leadership style, because every leadership has a different style. And also because the COVID, I was about to go to traveling Southbridge, Massachusetts in a little cold winter time in March. But at the week I had travel orders already. The week I was supposed to go, it's a COVID. So everything is pushed. And 6 months we were waiting for what they're gonna do. What's gonna happen, just like last year. And they finally they decided to do the virtual. Everything was set. So I started in September, and I think graduated in November. So those resiliency we learn from that. Being flexible as a leader, you have to be flexible too. You have to mindful. Those are great, and they will, just like somebody else told that too. But this program also will give you a Myers-Briggs with your personal character test, and also 360 assessment. So I learned myself a lot of that, and I have advice to all, if whoever applying to, if you have like me to pursue like different perspective, learning to perspective for different agency or anything, I think I highly recommend for this program, because you all learn. And the advice is to challenge yourself, because if you don't challenge it, the door never open. Because you, just like me, I was comfortable, but I did something, tell myself to challenge myself. So if you don't challenge yourself, doors never open. So it was great. So you challenge yourself, and also you should have good resume and update resume and good application. Ask somebody to look at it. The why I say that, because I didn't know who's gonna look at my resume, and during the courses, Department of Navy, the higher level of Department of Defense, higher level of their people look at my package, and they was looking for talent to put on the article. So they just like my package. I never met those people, but they like my package, and I was selected to be on the article. So you never know who's looking your resume, where they're forwarding your package. So I would say to have a good resume, good application, good writing in the application for yourself, how to present yourself. And what helped this program is open my eyes and gave me desire to get better, and get the desire to be a good leader, and how I can influence to others. Because and I think that anybody who impact to other, influence other, is a leader. If not have a title, but if you have what do you do for influence, or you really to impact, they are the leader. So I believe that they was good for me. They brought myself. And then personally, I lead a church on some ministries in the church. So this leadership skills is always a leadership skill. So this helps me to utilize on in my church. And I recommend highly recommend this who needs to learn yourself, who know yourself, like to know and leadership style, and developing good skills for leading people and creating team on project and leading self. And leadership is about yourself first. You have to lead yourself first. So it was great learning. So I highly recommend that to who has a desire to lead yourself. Okay, thank you.
Thanks so much, Takako. So now we're going to move on to our centralized leadership program. So for NAVFAC LDP, we have Mr. Anthony King. Hopefully, Anthony, are you on the line with us? If not, we can come back. So we will go ahead and move to Mr. Rafael Enriquez, who is in the Aspiring Leader Development Program, or who graduated from the Aspiring Leader Development Program. Rafael, are you with us?
Yes, good morning.
Thanks, good morning. And I know you're also currently in the LDP as well, correct?
Correct.
Yes, so we may have you speak on both if you don't mind.
Yeah, you want me to just go into that?
Yeah, sure, go ahead. Yes,
okay, so I'll start with a brief little background. So I'm fairly new to NAVFAC Southwest. I've been with NAVFAC Southwest for about 6 years. So coming in from the private sector, that's a majority of my experience, and having done some kind of unstructured and some classes that are leadership in the private sector, I didn't really have any experience with a leadership program in the federal environment. So after about 2 years at Southwest, I was like, I think I'm ready. Let me apply to LDP. Got rejected. Like, didn't even know really what I was missing still. And what that kind of forced me to do was kind of see like, hey, I can't do this by myself. I don't really know NAVFAC that well. I need to reach out to, and I'll go into this a little bit, but I'm an introvert. I kind of knew that. But with the ALDP, with the assessments that we were able to do, I was kind of able to dig into more detail. Okay, what does that mean, right? How is that holding me back potentially? What are potential blind spots that creates? Or what's the perception that I'm giving to other people? Because that was also one thing that, at first I didn't even think about. So I would say for the ALDP part of it, for me, it was huge. Having gone through the ALDP and now going through the LDP and just about to finish, I would not have done it any other way. To me, I would say there's a slide that Rosalind showed where it kind of walked you through the weeks of the curriculum. So to me, one way that I would suggest for people that are trying to identify, what's a better fit, the ALDP or the LDP, if you look at that slide, which is page 15 on the set, and if you know all those things about yourself, either because you've done programs outside of NAVFAC or maybe in grad school or in the private sector, then I would say, you're probably ready to go into the LDP program right away. For me, I didn't have all of these things. So for me, it was really beneficial to kind of have that foundational knowledge of myself and my strengths and weaknesses and kind of how those perceptions would play out with other people. Yeah, that's the slide right there. So to me, what I would say to people is take a look at that. And if that kind of looks like, oh, this is all new, I don't really know these things about myself, then do the ALDP. If you know most of these things about yourself, then I think you're ready to go into the LDP at that stage. And I would say for the ALDP part of it, it's really focused on you, right? Who you are, and then they kind of slowly emerge you into the team setting, but it's still like you within the lens of a team, right? The good and bad, and then kind of transforming once you kind of see what works and doesn't work based on how you're wired in a team setting. What do you need to work on, right? So some of the things that I kind of want to put out there for people is the ALDP is the initial leadership program. So that's the other kind of thing that differentiates. So you haven't done a leadership program, ALDP is the first one that they point you to. But I would say for people that are interested in the ALDP, you don't have to wait for the ALDP. Some of the things that I've been telling people is, and Rosalind mentioned, employee competency assessment. Anyone could take that. There's public speaking and professional writing courses on Total Force. Anyone could take those. The NFI 101, 201, 301 courses, anyone could take those. On DAU, there's Harvard Business School courses that I was taking through my LDP program. I didn't know way back when I could just sign up on and start taking those. So there's a lot of stuff that's out there that we could all start doing to kind of either if you want to get into a leadership program or at least start getting you exposed to some of the things that you'll learn in there to see if that's something that you want to do further. Other things, there's a lot of virtual classes that have been getting sent out in emails to kind of address soft skills. That's another huge thing that could prepare you for the ALDP. Also, there's a recommended reading list that the Navy has, or you could even start developing one that's based off of your own interests. So there's a lot of stuff that people could do that's outside of the leadership programs that could kind of help you get into those and could help you get the most once you're in it. My biggest advice, and I think it's been brought up by various people previously, is connect with someone that's been in the program before. So for my specific situation, so I applied to the LDP in 2018, I think, didn't get in. The next year was the first year that the ALDP was offered, and it sounded like exactly what I needed, right? So I was part of the initial ALDP Cadre. That this was pre-COVID times. So for us, a lot of the team building exercises that we did with our classmates in the same room, those weeks that we met, were huge. That first week, everyone was kind of defensive. We didn't really know each other. We might have heard about other people, but we didn't really know each other. And it wasn't until that second week when we started doing teamwork exercises. And, I would suggest, and it's been brought up by other people too, you need to kind of, be okay with making yourself vulnerable and putting yourself out there, because even though it sounds cliche, you're really not going to get as much out of it until you realize that you have to put more into it, right? And give more of yourself to that program and to your cadre members. So for us, that second week was a huge breakthrough. And on the third week when we got together, there was a lot of crying in our specific cadre, good and bad crying. But, just to get that level of connection with the people in that group, it took going through those teamwork exercises in that second week. So that's what I would kind of capture as the ALDP part of it. The LDP part of it that I went into, it was a lot more, it's assumed that all these things that I just went through in the LDP, that you already know this, because there's no kind of like hand holding of like, knowing yourself. You should know yourself pretty well to know what you need to do, because for the LDP part of it, a lot of it is more on you versus your instructors in the ALDP kind of walking you through little by little. On the LDP, it's like you're on your own, and you really need to leverage your strengths to kind of get through the program, to identify what LDP project you're going to do, right? What rotation you're going to do, get a mentor. So for me, a lot of those things that the LDP program had as requirements, I kind of had a practice run in the ALDP. So that's kind of another way to look at it too. And I know for myself, and I think probably for most people, if they've gone through this process, having gone through the ALDP first, and as soon as you can, going straight into the LDP, you get the most out of that LDP experience. I was also in the LDP when COVID kind of shut everything down, but having all that knowledge, resources, and legacy knowledge from the ALDP, I had a lot to kind of pull out of and kind of reach back to that cadre group to kind of round out some of the interactions that were kind of limited in the LDP because of the COVID. So my kind of big takeaway for all of this is, you're not going to do it as well on your own. There's a lot of people, especially for the LDP, that have been in that program for a long time that can give you guidance. So I would suggest that you reach out to people that have been in the program before to really maximize the most out of it. And for both programs, one thing that really helped me is get a mentor. Get someone that hold you accountable to doing the things that you say you're going to do. Because I know for myself, it's a lot. It's a lot easier for me to kind of like let things kind of procrastinate if I don't have someone that I'm meeting with on a regular basis that I need to report to. So that was one little trick that kind of helped me, and hopefully could help some people out there too. But I also am happy to take any questions either from the ALDP or LDP from anyone that's curious and wants to know more. So please feel free to reach out if you need to get more information. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Raphael. I appreciate it. And thank you to all of our speakers today talking about your programs. We greatly appreciate your time. I understand, since I know it's past the hour, if anyone or if our speakers have to leave, but if anyone has questions at this time, for those of you who are still with us, please feel free to jump on and ask them in the chat or here with us live. So let's see. Do we have any questions from the field?
I don't see any, Roz.
Yeah. Okay. Well, please know for folks out there, if you need us, like either Rob or myself, please feel free to reach out to us. Also to your BD17s, if you have other questions, if you would like us to help put you in contact with past participants, we can help in that way as well. Thank you again for everyone for joining us. We greatly appreciate your time and hope you have a good rest of your day and a good rest of your week. Thank you again. Take care, everybody. And so right now we are fortunate to have some folks with us today who can talk about their experience within the programs of the different leadership programs. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. We have for the Navy Senior Leader Seminar, Miss Catherine Horan. So Catherine, I will turn it over to you.
Hi, thank you very much. It's nice to be here with everyone today. I had the pleasure and opportunity of going to the NSLS, Navy Senior Leadership Seminar. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that and my experience there, but I'll start by telling you a little bit about myself. I am counsel at NAVFAC Southeast in Jacksonville, Florida. I've worked for the federal government for 28 years, about 26 of those 28 have been with the Navy, with Office of General Counsel. I've been at NAVFAC since 2000. I was selected to be leader and supervisor of the office in 2005. So at the time I took the NSLS class, I'd been supervising for quite a long time, but I still jumped at the opportunity to take it because I think we can always improve our leadership skills, and we can always hone those skills and take every opportunity to learn and improve and become better at what we do. So I currently supervise and lead 12 lawyers and a paralegal in Jacksonville. Love my job, love the command, and love the opportunities I've been given. So my advice is take every opportunity that you can to take these courses because they're just excellent. And I definitely recommend this particular class. So I will start by talking a little bit about the location. It's located in Monterey, California, which is absolutely gorgeous. Very easy to get to. There's an airport close by. You can just fly in. It's a very short car ride to the location of the class. It's on a beautiful campus. Very convenient. Everything's right there. They are very helpful in helping you arrange travel and where you're going to stay and the materials that you're going to need to attend the classes. Some of the topics that we covered were absolutely excellent. We took a class on leadership styles, a class on Navy programming, which we don't get many opportunities to learn how the Navy programs for its projects. That was really good. We took classes on diversity and biases in decision-making, classes on problem solving. We took an excellent NCIS session in fraud prevention, which also was a little bit out of the ordinary, but helpful as a leader. Strategic communications. We did an incredible session on China's rise to power that helped us to see the overall Navy objectives and strategy and goals for defense. We took a class on ethical leadership. We also broke out into many leadership teams, small groups. What was wonderful about these smaller groups is that it was a very diverse class that I was in. There were some civilians and some active duty military, and we don't often get to have leadership classes with civilians and active duty. And these were high-ranking active duty folks at the 06 level who had a lot of leadership ideas and styles of their own and things they had learned throughout their career. So when we broke into these small LSTs, leadership teams, we could learn from each other. And I learned a lot from the active duty military and the things that they had been trained and what they'd seen over their careers. We also took group exercise, which sounded very intimidating to me, especially because some of the active duty spend a lot of their time exercising, but everybody was great. I wasn't shamed. I was very supported. Everybody patted me on the back. You know, as we exercised together, everybody was very supportive. No judgment at all in that regard, which was great. We also had a nutritionist assigned to our group, which was incredible. She talked to us about how important it is to eat healthy. She shared some ideas for healthy snacks and healthier diets. She talked to us about sleep. We actually had a specialist on sleep and how important it is to rest well in order to be a good leader and to be at your best during the workday. I would definitely recommend the class. I can give you more information on the schedule and other classes that we took. I just touched on the highlights of some of the classes that made the biggest impression on me, but they were all excellent. We had incredible speakers. We had the IG of the Navy speak to us on topics that were important to leaders. Just incredibly great speakers and great class. So if you'd like to know more about the classes or the materials, feel free to reach out and let me know. But I highly recommend it. That's all from me. I look forward to any questions you have.
Catherine, thank you so much. I know it's late there over in Southeast, so greatly appreciate you joining us for this.
My pleasure.
Thank you
for inviting me. My pleasure.
So we have up next from the President's Management Council Interagency Rotation Program, all the way from Far East, Ms. Christine Tollefson. I'll turn it over to you. Thank you again for joining us.
Sure. Thank you for having me. So good afternoon, good evening. It's about 7:30 in the morning here. I am counsel at NAVFAC Far East. I've worked with NAVFAC since 2009 and have been a supervisor since 2014. The President's Management Council Interagency Rotation is a 6-month working rotation at another agency that also includes leadership development training through OPM. I think right now the program is limited to DC because there's no money for TDY, but the way it works is your home command will pay your salary for 6 months while you go work at another agency. And you apply for, it's a 2-step application process. First, you apply for the program through Navy, and then you apply for the individual rotations. And it kind of works like a med school matching process. So you rank your top choices of where you want to go, and then the people who have interviewed you rank you. And so it was very nerve-wracking, but I was thrilled to get my first choice for rotation at the Small Business Administration. And my goals going into this program were to learn from leaders outside of the Department of Defense. I think that's the real attraction of this program. You go, you learn different acronyms, you learn different leadership styles, and then specifically to work on leading change and business acumen qualifications. So like Kathy, I just had a hugely positive experience. I can't say enough about what a great opportunity this was for me. So I helped Small Business Administration plan a controversial merger of 2 programs, which involved rulemaking, workforce planning, IT application development, communication plan, and transition strategy. So unlike some of the other leadership programs, this is less focused on training and more focused on getting practical application of skills and work kind of outside your normal bailiwick. So I'm a lawyer, and basically I was project manager when I did this rotation. The project I had, it was substantive, it was challenging, and it really perfectly aligned with my goals to work on business acumen and leading change. The other real great advantage of this program is I was able to meet with an SES mentor almost daily. I had opportunities to brief the political appointee multiple times. And I had opportunities. SBA is really supportive of this program to do informational interviews with many other key leaders in that organization. So I really also was able to accomplish my goal of getting leadership perspective outside the Department of Defense. For people that are thinking of applying for this, my advice for applicants is to apply for things that are outside but adjacent to your wheelhouse. So, like I said, I'm a lawyer and I applied for a project management job, but it was with the Small Business Administration's Government Contracting Division. So my contracts attorney experience helped me kind of learn faster and contribute faster than if I didn't have that background in government contracting. The other recommendation I would have is ask questions of and about your potential mentor before ranking your choices. I mean, the mentor really makes the experience for you because you're basically an intern when you go over there, and you're entirely dependent on your mentor for access and authority within your host agency. And so if your mentor doesn't have the time or the interest in helping you navigate, you won't accomplish anything. But like I said, for me, it was just a wonderful experience, and highly recommend it for people that are looking to kind of reset their mental framework by doing a 6-month rotation somewhere outside of DoD. And I'm happy to answer any questions as well.
Thank you so much, Christine. Greatly appreciate it. And now we have to discuss the DCELP, the Defense Civilian Emerging Leader Program, and the NAVFAC Leadership Development Program is Mr. Cameron Stewart from EXWC.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. Sorry, no fancy video feed. I'm using my NMCI machine, which does not have a camera. And quick thumbs up. You can hear me, Rosalind?
Yes, we can.
Awesome.
Thanks so much, Cameron.
Okay, so you're here. Everyone here at this brief, they're trying to learn about these different programs and trying to figure out, is this something you should pursue, which is the right one for you, and how do you go about getting into one once you've decided. First, I want to say on the first thing, is this something you should pursue? Most definitely. No matter where you are at in your career, even if you're not in a supervisory position and don't know if you want to do that, there are programs that can still help you in your career. One of them being the DCLP. That one is not limited to just those that are in a supervisory position. So anyone, if you feel like this is something that can help you, please go for it. So second, which is the right one for you? Well, I can only talk about the ones I've been in, which is DCLP and LDP level 1. The DCELP is, from what I understand, very similar to the ALDP. I haven't been in the ALDP, so I can't say for sure, but what I've heard and read about it, it sounds very similar to the DCLP. The difference is DCLP is a DoD-wide, so you're competing with others to get in from throughout the DoD. But on the flip side, if you do get in, you're able to interact with those who are outside of NAVFAC and outside of the Navy. You get exposure to other DoD organizations and personnel, which is a great opportunity not just to learn about other facets of the Department of Defense, but also just to build up a social network outside of NAVFAC and the Navy. So that's definitely a benefit of the DCLP being a DoD program. Again, it is more of a beginning level leadership development program. So you have 4-week long seminars you attend. And the first one, you focus on developing yourself. The second one, you very much focus on effective communications. The third, building teams. And then the fourth one, leading people. And very basic stuff, but very important stuff to learn. And I had a great experience going through the DCLP, and it was a very big benefit to me personally, in my own personal life, as well as in my career. The LDP, I've just done the level 1, so I can't speak for the others, but that one is more advanced than when you get in the ALDP or the DCLP. And it is Navy specific, so you're just competing against others in the Navy and NAVFAC. And so you probably have a easier chance of getting in, but it is only just, your experience will be focused solely on the Navy, which is a benefit in that you get better exposure to what we're trying to do as a Navy and in NAVFAC, and you get exposed to senior leadership in NAVFAC. I was impressed when I did it. when we had our week spent at the headquarters in DC, we had Admiral Korka visit us, the chief for NAVFAC, and he actually bumped his schedule so they could spend more time with us. That shows you how leadership views these programs and how important they view it. That someone at that level decided to bump his schedule so that he could spend more time with us. And you get rotational experiences, a project that all build on with the classroom learning that you get in LDP to give practical experience opportunities in the LDP. So great experience. And if you are already beyond just kind of an entry level kind of area for a leadership development program, I would then say shoot for the LDP. And the different levels are tailored to different levels of where you might be at in your career right now. Your next step then, once you decide which is the right one for you, is learn as much as you can. This briefing is a great first step on that, but go online. Also find people that have been in the program. I am definitely more than happy to talk about the ones I've been in and find out, more details about what the experience is, because this briefing is not enough time to cover everything. And then really make sure you have your own personal goals clearly established for what you would want to get out of one of these, because that will inform both your discussions with your supervisor. I had a very supportive supervisor, but also had to make very clear what I was trying to get out of these and how it's going to benefit him and our organization. So make sure you've developed that. Put in the time to make sure you have a really good application. I'm not sure what in my application got me accepted to both programs, but I did put a good amount of time in each one. And the fact that I got accepted shows I did something right. And then make sure, if you don't have one already, work on getting a mentor, because a mentor is going to be very important, not just for these kinds of programs, but for your career overall, to help you to meet the goals you set for yourself. And that's what I've got to share today. Thank you. Over.
Cameron, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it. And last but certainly not least, we have for the Aspiring Leader Development Program, Miss Heather Diaz-Tran from Southwest. Hi, Heather.
Hi everyone. Thanks for having me. My name is Heather Diaz-Tran, and I'm a facilities planner with Asset Management Corps here in San Diego at Southwest. And I was a graduate of the ALDP 2020 Cadre. So for those of you who are hesitant about using an online platform, we were kind of the guinea pigs for it. And I can't speak more highly about it because I felt like it gave us multiple avenues in which to communicate, whether it was breakout rooms, chat rooms, email. We had group sessions, and polls, and sometimes we would have conversations and then have sidebar chats online. So I felt like for me, there are more ways to engage that maybe the face to face doesn't really allow for. So um, if you're on the fence because it's online, I can assure you that it was still an amazing and great experience, and the moderators did a fantastic job making sure it was seamless. I also want to echo what Cameron said about, having your own personal goals as to why you want to do one of these leadership programs. And so for me, what I wanted to share with all of you is, what was my why? And that was a question that we kept getting asked in these leadership programs. Like, what's your why? Like, what gets you up in the morning? And for me, I was, at the time, I was pretty new to the command, about 2 years in, but I had a career for 10 years before. So before I decided to pivot my career, I kind of had some idea about leadership, and I just didn't know what that looked like at NAVFAC. And so for me, it was an opportunity to learn a little bit more about the organization, expand my network, and kind of learn what leadership looks like from the lens of our senior leaders. And that was an amazing connection to have senior leaders talking to you, saying how much they're invested in you because you matter. So for me, it strengthened that connection between the work that I do to this bigger picture at NAVFAC. A few other things I wanted to share with you is that, some of my key takeaways. The assessments were great because not only do you learn a little bit more about yourself, but you also gain insight about the people you work with and how to leverage that so that you can lead and build effective teams. So that's how you kind of bring back that to your real work. But I also feel like, let's see, you also get new tools for working through some difficult challenges at work. And I say tools because not only do you acquire information as part of the trainings, but you have opportunities to practice. It's going to feel weird the first few times, and having that safe space to practice in before you're kind of like doing it out on in group settings or in team settings, that was really awesome and such a safe, supportive environment to do that. And so you're in a cadre with people who are there for the same reason, to step outside their comfort zone, to stretch their capacity, and to see where they want to take their career next. And that was just such an inspiring environment to be in. And I still keep in touch with my cadre members, and and I've seen them in a new few meetings that I've been in. And so that was that has been really awesome. And since my participation in ALDP, it empowered me to kind of take charge of my career. I expanded my network, but I also found a mentor. I saw the value in having a mentor, and I got one. There was a rotation that I was kind of on the fence on, and I went for it. So those opportunities have kind of led me to kind of feel more confident about stepping into what I'm capable of here at NAVFAC. And so I'm here. I'm happy to be a resource. And I remember feeling cold feet, or like, should I do it or should I not? The first step is just applying, right? So let's just start there. And if you're on the fence, I'm a resource for you to answer any questions.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Heather. To all our speakers, thank you again. So right now, we will go ahead and open up. Do we have any questions from the floor? So one thing that I do want to mention regarding the application is just to, and I didn't get to mention this earlier, is, to be sure when you're filling out those applications, make sure all the fields are filled out, all of the questions are thoroughly answered, making sure you answer the question that's being asked, especially in the free responses. So these are things that are looked at and are reviewed at your command level and at the selection board level for NAVFAC. So just wanted to put in a plug on that. If you're unsure about something, be sure to ask, making sure you have your correct business line, support line listed, things of that nature. And also I wanted to put out there that we didn't get speakers for some of the other programs for the afternoon session. So if you are interested in, for example, FEI, Bridging the Gap, Sigma rotation, we do have some speakers from the morning session too. You can forward the piece, of course, about me talking with the brief, forward that and just go to the speakers. But they had some great insight as well too, where folks even shared, there's at least one person who said, or at least two people said they didn't get in their first time to the leadership program. But they talked about more, they reviewed, what do I need to do? One person applied multiple times because he didn't get in the first time. So it's just things that, it's a goal that you have, don't feel like if you don't get in the first time that, oh, I'm going to give up. So, but, so it's great to hear from those folks as well, too. If you're interested, I highly encourage it. I know we recorded that session just as we recorded this. So it'll be available to all of you as well, too. So any questions? And also, I wanted to say thank you. I see a lot of our BD17 folks out there. So I know Dion was there, Bob Lewis, Shirley Gu. Thank you guys so much. Your BD17, your total force development folks, are just full of knowledge and they can share so much information with you. And there's such wonderful, wonderful resources. So please, go to them. I see Alan's out there too. Just again, great resources that can help you with the process with the leadership programs. As of course, myself and Rob, we're here to support you too. We all want you to succeed, and we hope to see you in the programs. So Any other?
Roz, I just wanted to reiterate something that a couple of the speakers mentioned in regards to their applications to leadership programs. And not one program fits all. It's not a one size fit all. So wherever you are in your career, there is a program out there for you. So you might want to definitely take a moment to have those serious conversations as you develop your IDP, because we're in DP map season. As you have that conversation with your supervisor, because they are, essentially your mirror to the observable behaviors, and maybe they see something that you don't. So definitely have that conversation and say, what fits me? What am I looking to do? Definitely establish some goals for where you want to go in your career. And maybe there's a program that we didn't mention or we didn't have a speaker for, but we are, like Roz has said and mentioned, we are a resource. You definitely feel free. We have the website which we maintain. We have all the information about each of the programs, and if you need additional, we can probably work something out where we can get you to talk with some of these speakers and kind of leverage that experience. And
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate
Rosalind,
it.
I got a comment.
Yes.
This is Al from NAVFAC Far East. I think I might have mentioned this before, and I think either you or Rob said something about you guys were gathering level 3 survey data, correct?
yes, but that we're still compiling that data with headquarters.
Yeah, well, I was just wondering if you could put out maybe it's probably jumping ahead, but put together some kind of a document that says, have the response, the replies people have given to questions, so they can look up like ALDP and see what people have been talking about, and have that as a living document posted on the site. So in case they can't attend these briefings, they can always go look at this thing and see what people have been saying about the program. Just a thought.
Thanks.
No, that's definitely good feedback for us. We'll look to try to kind of tinker with the website. I'm always looking to try to improve that experience with the website.
Yeah.
No, that's great. An FAQ. So thanks, Alan.
Yeah.
And then there was a question about our interviews part of the selection process from Gil Sampson. So I did reply to him online that the only leadership program that requires an interview is the LDP. So just wanted to share that with everybody too, in case you folks can't see the chat. Do we have any other questions? We still have a few more minutes left. Or any with our speakers, anything else you'd like to share? Okay. Well, with that, thank you again to our speakers. Thank you for everyone for joining us today. We greatly appreciate it. Heather, Rob, and myself will stay on, afterwards in case some other last-minute questions come up. We appreciate it, and take care. Hope you have a good rest of your day. To everyone, thank you.
Thank you, Roz. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks, Roz. Bye, everyone.
Also, if you need the brief and for whatever reason you can't open it from the chat, and I did not get you on an email, and if you would like it, please send me an email and I will email that out to you right now.
Thanks, Rob.
Hey, Rob. Roz, Dion, thanks for hosting this. This is awesome. I'm assuming this is the only one you're going to do. That's why you recorded it.
Well, yeah, we had the morning one and then this one. So kind of to hit east and west.
Yeah.
But we will do our best we have to figure out how to post it. I think Rob's working at one. Thank you, Rob.
I wish I had thought about it and actually invited people from our command to witness it. I thought this was more kind of train the trainer kind of stuff, but this would have been great for our actual guys can't post, well, same thing, right? If you post it on YouTube, we can't watch it. But if someone could send it to me via the DoD Safe, the e-transfer, I'll post it on my website. For some reason, we seem to have unlimited space because I posted